We're bringing you guys a show today. We've got our top gun on our team here, coach. So, little background on him and why we call him coach specifically. The reason that is he's one of the best trainers I think that are out there in the industry, not just on our team. And just past this quarter, recently, he's been able to scale from 100,000 to $400,000 a month in issued paid business in his agency in less than one quarter. And just recently, to add the cherry on top of the icing, he's been able to take one of his 19-year-old prodigies to $53,000 in issued paid business within less than 45 days into the business, with only 3 weeks of February out. So join me in welcoming in Coach to the Builders Call. Drop some ones in the chat, drop some emojis. Let's kick this thing off. Coach, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Hey, how's it going, guys? So everybody calls me Coach. My real name is Muhammad Raja, for anybody who doesn't know me. And when I started this business about 2 years ago, so I came from T-Mobile as a store manager. And, I quit before I saw any money with this job just because I wanted like an opportunity to build a business. And at first I just thought, it was going to be through just sales. Honestly, like I didn't have like I didn't even kind of know about the team building, just the sales aspect about it was like enough for me. But then kind of getting and seeing everybody around you building their team and you see the culture that FFL has and people honestly just want an opportunity as well that to get into a new job. It just felt like it was so easy to start recruiting and building a business here. So I was a store manager there for about like 6 years uh, before I switched over. No, store manager for like 4 years, but yeah, was T with Timo for like 6 years before I switched over.
Yeah, and that's huge. So, and like to add on to that, you left out like a really key part of the intro. Like he quit his job making six figures a year before he even got his first commission check. Like,
Mhm.
why did that make sense for you to do? Like, I didn't tell you to quit before. Just for the
Yeah,
record, anybody that's listening, they're like, all right, why did this guy quit before he got his first check? But like, why did it make sense for you, just like right out of the gun like that?
yeah. So the funny thing is like Ronnie, like was still fresh in the business, so he was like, like he kind of felt weird about telling me about quitting or even telling me about the opportunity, but he told my brother about it first, and I'm just like, hey man, like you're talking about a lot of money, like I'm willing to do it. And then he was kind of like shocked and surprised. And then like that same night, he's hanging out at my house. I'm like, oh yeah, Ronnie, like just send me the course. Like I'm just gonna quit. He was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, like I've heard enough. Like I've heard the numbers. Like I always tell everybody, like if you've been in a commission sales job and you know how to look at a compensation too, and you look at what other people are doing, it's like I can do the math. I'm like, okay, that dude made that much last month. Oh yeah, that's all I need to see.
Yeah, and that's huge. So the biggest reason I'm really excited for today's call is because as new agents, new builders, guys that are individuals in general that are looking to start scaling to the next level, the key is how do you get started? Because everybody, wants to know what's the next step to get started, especially to be moving at the speed that you're moving at. So I'll share a quick story with you guys with my experience last year. So last year in March, right before March, I put up like big numbers personal, 80K personal, and did 300 and change as a team. And coach just did the exact same thing this past month. And I know history is about to repeat because what happened after that is we went from 300 to like 1.4 million in like 7 months. So history is about to repeat on your side. But the biggest thing is like from the building aspect, right? Is like how are you balancing producing at that high level to lead for your team by example and still recruiting at even a higher level?
Yeah, so one of the main things is like building a good schedule and the work ethic, right? That's what everybody's going to tell you. Like if you're putting in the hours, you could make everything work always. And of course, if you have a schedule that you're sticking to, where I know I'm doing this from this time to this time and this time to this time, I'm not busy just doing nothing ever.
Mhm.
Every kind of hour is kind of calculated in my day. But what I'll always say too is one thing that I kind of learned when I started kind of really scale, like you said, going from 100K to 400K, was I had some leaders on my team that were just really, really sharp, good guys, and I just relied on them to just do them. Like, like we could talk as just as friends, as just dudes in the business, but I'm not there like micromanaging him. Like he knows what he's doing. Like, so I kind of let him do what he's doing, and I focus on the people that more so needed my help. And that's what helped me go to the next level, just by kind of letting those people do what they do.
Yeah, and I think the biggest misconception as you begin to scale is like your personal production gets hit. And my mentor always told me that you should be writing a minimum of 40,000 a month till your team gets to $1 million a month. Because then is truly when your time gets affected with staff and getting to the next level and scaling. But you've been able to show that that's not an excuse. Like last year, you put almost 600K on your own pen.
Mhm.
The last 2 months to start the year, you're producing at a 60, $70,000 a month level while scaling a team.
Mhm.
So when it comes to that, you just think the biggest thing is being intentional with the time, it sounds like.
Of course. So it's being intentional with your time, how you're going to schedule your day, and who you're going to schedule it with. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if I'm sitting there and I'm on one of my guys' ass and I know he knows what he's doing, it's like I'm not helping him. You know what I'm saying? And someone else could use my help more, and that's going to help me scale. So be intentional with your time and putting it in the right place too. I think is like one of the main things that I kind of tell everybody to do. Because at the end of the day, like if you have a leader and you teach them what to do, like that's what this business is really built on. Like I always look at dudes like Zach or you, and I'm just like, I know you don't have to come to like my whole team and teach them what to do. You're focused on teaching me how to be a better leader for them. So I just look at, okay, I want to look at my leaders, find out who's going to be the best leaders, and try to teach them to replicate what was replicated to me. And I feel like that's how you really learn how to scale. Like I'm not here to find 30 recruits every day myself. I'm here to find guys here and there, and then those guys teach them how to recruit, teach them how to get paid, and that's going to be the main thing to get them to start to recruit.
Yeah, and that's huge. And one of the first things that I want to touch on is something that we're really proud of as a team is the persistency rate amongst all agents that join the team is 86%, meaning that only 1 out of 10 people fail out of our group. And most of the time it's because of work ethic and lack of work ethic and being coachable. And I know that's something you and I both are something that we're really proud of. But what is the trick to that? How do you make sure as new agents or people that are starting to scale, how do you make sure that you're working with the right people?
So I always say, like, for example, I had a recent situation where I had a guy who inconsistent with his schedule. You know, every time before I even like have a guy join the team, I go over what your schedule is going to look like and I set the right expectations. So like I
Mhm.
send them 3 videos, that 3 videos lets me know that, you're willing to listen, you're willing to kind of follow any type of directions or roles, you're coachable, and you know about the business before you join it. Because I think a lot of times people don't know enough about the business, then join it, get caught off guard. And I like people to know exactly what they're getting themselves into. So
Mhm.
after I do those 3 videos, I then have them join the business overview meeting that we host every Wednesday. And every time after that, I get on a call again on Thursday. So I do an initial call, send them 3 videos, have them join the meeting on Wednesday, then give them another call, see if they have any questions. And usually they told me like any question or concern they had was answered before I
Mhm.
even spoke to them the second time. Like it was a very, very like warm call the first time, like, just getting to know them, sending them the course, like, and then that did the rest of the work. I'm only on the phone with them like 10 minutes each call.
Mhm.
And then
That's
from there,
huge.
like
So,
that schedule that we agree on, like especially like first month, like I'm like, okay, like I need to see you actually working the schedule if you're going to be worth my time.
yeah, and that's huge. So if you guys picked up something right there, we're gonna break it down a little bit more on how we recruit like NFL scouts. But if you guys want to hear this next gem, drop some ones in the chat because like this is a game changer. This will assure that you are working with 90% of the correct people, and the ones that are not going to be the right fits for your team are going to weed themselves out. So
Mhm.
hit on that a little bit more because most people they're like just looking to, okay, I put them in the course, I need another person on my team, like let's get you rolling. We
Yeah.
don't do that here. We don't want to work with everybody
Yeah.
because we know that this is not for everybody. So touch on those 3 videos, right? So you're
Yeah,
saying that you're sending out like a couple steps before to see if that person is coachable before you even have the next conversation, right? Just
exactly.
rephrase that a little bit because that part is super important.
Yeah, so like the 3 videos, like you said, it's really just to see like if they're coachable, right?
Hmm.
So if I tell somebody, hey, like watch these 3 videos, let me know if you have any questions, and they're also gonna have you join a call. Like I let them watch those videos, text me back like, hey man, I'm done the videos. Usually they'll send me like, yeah, I was really helpful, 1, 2, and 3. And kind of their response kind of tells me sometimes a lot about them. And it's just like I said, like if I were to send that guy those 3 videos and he didn't watch it, I'm like, okay, thank God I didn't put him through the course. That's the way I look at things. Like I'm not like you say, if we're recruiting like an NFL scout, like I'm not finding the dude that is barely supposed to make it to D1 college and put him in the NFL. Like that's the way I'm looking at things. Like I'm
Mhm.
finding the dudes that's like actually has the work ethic and I think has a drive where okay, you're going to be worth my time to even send you the 3 videos, then see how he reacts from that, then have them join the business overview meeting Wednesday, and I'll join that meeting and I see if they're in there. Like I always double check. Like I don't like let anybody just, oh, I watched the videos. Oh, I got no questions. They explained it. Oh, Wednesday, I joined that meeting too. Everything was great. Like, no, I actually check and make sure you're in there. So
Mhm.
it's just like seeing, okay, are they going to be coachable and follow those steps? That must mean there's some type of like real hunger for the opportunity there. And that's what I like to see.
Yeah, and I just dropped that for you guys in the chat. So the person I learned that from, and then obviously the communication continues, and now coach learned is I learned that from Zach Twardowski. So
Mhm.
like knowing that people are coachable, and I remember he told me something at my first convention, and it changed the game for me. He told me I wish the system was a little bit harder. And then I remember going to Sean Mike's house 2 weeks later, and I asked him one question: how do I get from damn near 0 to 1 million by the end of the year? And he told me you need to recruit like a scout. You need to look for the next top talent and make sure they're coachable before they come in. And like just taking pieces from here and from there and there, like we came up with that, and now we send that out. Unless you do those 2 steps, watch the 3 videos and get on that BOM, like there's no second conversation. We don't want to work with you. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Because you're weeding out the people that are not coachable by doing that. And now the
Mhm.
next biggest thing, coach, is I think a lot of people struggle with this is not getting people to take the exam in a timely manner. What's your trick for that?
So I told them 2 week maximum. I'm like, hey man, like schedule it. It could be less than 2 weeks, but 2 weeks is the most that I'm gonna let you schedule it out for. And if you fail, I always tell them like, listen, man, if you take the test and you fail, it's fine. But I want you to finish that course and give that test a try within the 2 weeks because like if you can't do it in within 2 weeks, it just shows me you're not too serious about the job.
Mhm.
And then everybody just takes that as like, oh no, like I'm gonna prove this guy that I'm serious. Like, of course I'm gonna follow what he's saying. Makes them really have that excitement and kind of like use that excitement to like push through the test and get started. Because after they pass that test, a lot of them, it's like, yeah, I didn't go through all this for nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm gonna see it through. So it's like getting them and kind of creating the sense of urgency. I always say, like everything I always do is like a sense of urgency. Like create that sense of urgency that like this needs to get done today and now. And I
Hmm.
think that's what kind of helps me because like we're saying, I wish this was harder, like to start.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
when we could make it harder by watching the videos during the meetings, but like I wish the process was harder to weed out people that suck. Like my last job that I told you I came from, people used to have to go through a 2 week training, 9 to 5 every single day before they could start the job. Yes, they'd get paid for the training, but it's like if you couldn't survive those 2 weeks and you didn't learn enough about the business to where you wanted to stick around, like those 2 weeks really helped weed people out or to see who's just at least going to come on time. So I'm like, and that was for a job that was going to pay like $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Like this is a serious, serious job that people make a lot of money. And they did all that because somebody was going to make $20 an hour. So like, do you really think that all they need is one conversation or you just say, hey, you want to join? Give me your phone number and your email and you're good? Like, no, like hell no. Like that to me, that doesn't work at all. Like honestly, I want a couple ways to make it even harder than the way I do it now. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and I think like we've almost bulletproofed the recruiting concept now because like we've literally reverse engineered that persistency rate amongst agents where it used to be like a high ratio that doesn't make it to now it's a low ratio that, comes in and, has to leave. And the biggest reason that is remember, guys, when you guys are recruiting, always recruit like an NFL scout. You're looking for the next top talent. And I used to have this wristband on my wrist and it broke. It used to say actions over words. And that's how I used to recruit. I used to look at actions. I don't like you could tell us that you want to be the next 40, 50K producer on our team. And if you're showing up late the first week, like what do you think they're gonna do after the first month? Like, dude, that's your cue. Get them out of there. Like if you're showing up late the first week, that's disrespectful to you as the upline. That's disrespectful to one of the greatest industries that we have. Literally, we're all sitting on a gold mine. And those
Mhm.
individuals are giving you guys a cue that they're not the right fit for the business. So it's like little stuff like that that assure that you're continuing to work with the right people. And that's been huge for us. And like even the exam thing, like most people say, like, I can't get people to take the exam. It's because you're not building the urgency. Before I get off the call, I'm like, hey, make sure you schedule your exam today after we get off this call and send it to me so my admins don't delete you out of our system. Like it's
Mhm.
urgency, like you're talking to a client. And most people, they don't do that. And that's why they have people not taking the exam. The way you should think about your recruit is the way you're talking to a client. You need to keep control of the conversation and you need to build urgency. Because at the end of the day, this business is not for everybody. And the way you weed those people out is by making that process a little bit more difficult. And that will assure 80% of the time, I guarantee you that you will be working with the right people. Now, the next part is, right, coach? Is
Mhm.
when it comes down to the training, right? We call you coach for a reason. You're one of the best trainers out there.
Mhm.
How are you getting agents paid? Like Omar, I know you're in the call, Omar, and like we've got a couple young guns on the team that are putting up crazy numbers within a few months. Drop some ones if you guys are in that chat. But how are you getting agents paid? Like the guy that just dropped the one in the chat, he did 53K IP February week 3, less than 45 days in the business. What the heck
Yeah.
are you teaching these agents to get them up to that speed that quick?
So I would say, especially with like dudes that are a little bit younger, I would say, like, because everybody's going to be different, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to get trained a certain way sometimes, and everybody has a different personality. And some people need to put a little bit more pressure on them to do a little bit better. And like what I saw, for example, with Omar, I was like, man, like this kid, he's a hard worker, he's committed, he's really humble. Like he will soak everything up that you give him. So if you push him, he's gonna do better because that
Yeah.
was the type of person that he was. So like, and his funny thing is, he talked about us on his call that he did the other day. Like he was selling like a couple policies his first week, 2 weeks, and I asked him questions like, "Hey man, like, do you have like any record of where you're keeping them, things like that, stuff like that?" He's like, "Oh no," like he had no recollection of what he sold, nothing. I was like, "All right, like until you figure out your shit, leave the office." I was like, I'm not dealing with you for the rest of the day. He got up, he was pissed. He got up, left the office, came back, was completely organized by tomorrow. Like all his policies were organized, things like that. And I'm like, hey man, like the reason and I explained why I did it to him the next day. And he apologized. He was like, oh, listen, man, like you're right. Like, I'm sorry that I'm not taking it as seriously. And it's like stuff like that, like me just pushing to do things like that, just like, okay, I gotta take this more seriously. You're right. And it just made him feel like, okay, like these dudes are here to really teach me how to get to that top level. Like some people need that pressure applied on them, and it's either going to make them to a diamond or what is it going to make them into a rock or whatever.
Yeah.
What's the thing? And that's the way I look at things like that. And there's some people like like they need to be put on the schedule. Like there's some
Yeah.
people like when they need to be put on the schedule. It's like it's for them. It's not for me. Like it's to make sure that you know what you're doing. Like some people haven't been on a real work schedule their entire lives yet. If they're especially if they're younger, it's their first real job. Like put them on a schedule, like, hey man, you need to show up from this time to this time. And if you're not, then you're not going to work here. And then if you do
Yeah.
show up, then I'm going to train you and I'm going to go through the script, one-on-one training. I'm going to make sure you understand the script, why we say what we say. And with the plug and play system that Ronnie created, all the guys here kind of created, like it is easy, but you have to put that time into them. Like I could go back into a Ronnie even when they first started. Like I had a group of a couple guys starting at the same time. So I did a whole basically like a training class, like a couple of hours. I went through it. I had some people come help me out that are already on the team, like my brother. I had some of my other uplines on the team come. And I just went through. I was like, okay, this is what it takes to be great at this business. Now we went through the list, and the funny thing is, like, they already knew half of the things just because everything applies with any other job you have. I went through
Yeah.
the whole thing. I'm like, okay, this is what it takes to be good in this business. Now we went and dug into it. We dug into how it related to this job and why you need to have those characteristics. And then after that, we broke off to everybody kind of took people. We each trained them. We each went through the script. We each made sure they knew what they were talking about. And basically from there, it just made them feel like, okay, like, like this is serious. Like these guys are really here to teach me how to get to the next level. And I show them my proof. Like I show them my numbers. I'm like, hey, like you look at the leaderboards this month, I'm number one. So like I lead from
For a
example.
reason, baby.
So whatever I say, like it hits differently to them because they're like, yo, like this dude actually does it. Like, who else am I gonna learn? If I can't learn from this dude, then I fucking suck. And that's the reason like I like them to think like that.
Yeah. And that's huge. How big would you say that is leading by example for your team with those numbers still the way you are?
It's everything, man. Like I said, it just what you say will resonate with them more.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like them to think like, yo, like I'm just telling you this because this is how this dude did great. Like, no, this is how I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if I could show you the way I'm gonna do it, and I tell you, hey, like what you're doing isn't gonna work, I know that because I'm not saying I've been perfect since the beginning. So I'll know what didn't work and what does work. And I'll tell you what you're doing isn't gonna work. And they're like, okay, like maybe I should listen to this guy. He's been through it and he's seen the success, so he knows what it takes to get to that level.
Yeah. And I'll share something with you guys. Like, unless you are doing it or you have done it, your team is not going to be able to do it. So if you think that you can come in here and produce at a mediocre level or at a low level, like, hey, newsflash, your entire team is going to as well. And I
Yeah.
want you guys to, this is when it really hit for me. And behind every dominant leader that you guys see in the industry is a leader that performed at a high level. Look at Zach Twardowski. Look at Easton Patton. Look at Wiley Hawkins. Look at Mahmoud Nasser. Look at myself. I guarantee you, everybody I just named off on that list, including coach, throw him in there, has produced at an 80K a month level at some point while they were writing. And the
Mhm.
reason that those teams come in and dominate in the industry is because they are being led by leaders that have done so already. They've written at a high level. They can teach agents how to do so because they know how to do it already. And that's what it comes down to, you know? And like coach was just touching on that is like the expectations. Like everybody wants to train on the script. Nobody talks about the expectations. And like
Mhm.
that's something that our group specifically does a really good job at. Before we even go over the script, we set the expectations, what it's going to take. And this is something that, I learned from Alex Hormozy even more like a few months ago. He gives out a book called The Book of Winning. And when you open that book, we're about to incorporate this into our onboarding process. This is why I'm going to give you guys a little gem. When you open that book of winning, all of the things that are in there are the things that you can do to assure that you're going to fail in the industry. So it's like 180, like
Yeah.
when you open
Like,
it, it's like everything that tells you that if you do it, you're gonna fail. Complaining about the leads, and he talks about in his old company how they used to call him the trash man because he used to buy the oldest leads, and he used to write the most because everybody, while they're complaining about the leads and saying the leads suck, he's putting in the work and getting the results because 90% of the other people say that the leads are too old and the leads suck, but they don't want to say that they suck.
yeah.
So like setting those expectations is huge. So the name of the book is called The Book of Winning. Like he only gave us like a page or two because they said something like if they gave us a whole book that they would have to send somebody like to take us out like the mafia or something. So I was only to get like a page or two ripped out, but it's really good and that's something like that most people they miss. Now
Yeah.
when it comes to like training those agents, right? You talked about how you set those expectations.
Yeah.
How do you keep the process simple and not overcomplicated, like going through week one, week two, week three with that new agent?
Well, the way you just keep it simple, man, is like you just want to make sure that they're actually taking what's being applied and be like, okay, like are you actually learning from it? Right. And the best way to do it is like, okay, get them on the phone, get them dialing, and kind of just listen to them. Like, okay, like if I were to pull you into the room after a month of us training and a month of us me telling you to join these training calls that we're doing and all those type of things, and then you get the objection, and I'm like, man, like you butchered that. And it's literally on the script how to say it. Then I'm gonna be like, okay, like you're not doing what was told. You get what I'm saying? So it's like really simple when you come down. Like I'm not making it like hard. It's like we give you the layout, we tell you what it takes. I'll help you with what you're struggling at. You know what I'm saying? And that's really all it is. But then it just comes from okay, week two, week three. Are we seeing an improvement? Like I said, like do you that same objection that you got like 2 weeks ago when I was listening to you dial? Did you get the same one to respond to the same exact way when I tell you that was wrong? You get
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So it's like, where's the disconnect coming from? Is it like, are you not getting enough reps in where you're not practicing it enough? Like, is it you're not really coachable? You're not really joining the trainings? You're not really taking what's applied? Did you kind of just dialing because that's your job is just to dial? Like, no, I always say your job is to sell, it's not to dial. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not getting better at what you're doing, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, and the biggest thing is when training brand new agents is setting a schedule. So we follow a 6 week schedule. If you guys want me to drop in the chat, I have it loaded up, but you guys have to excite me to drop that because that thing is literally it's gold. And when there's like a system like that in place, it allows all of us to scale. There's people within the playbook agency that are doing 300,000, $250,000 a month with their teams, and they haven't been in the business less than 4 months. The
Yeah.
reason that is we simplify the business. And where most people are gonna gatekeep this information, like I love this company. I told Sean before, like I will be with the company with every last ounce of my blood and continuing to upbring the company, continuing to lead at a high example. And this is what it's all about, guys. Nobody in here that you guys will notice at the top gatekeeps. And
Hmm.
if you guys notice, the people that are at the very top, like this year, like the last 2 years, my experience in the industry has been crazy. Like going from making a six-figure income to now becoming a seven-figure earner is like absolutely nuts that you can do it in 2 years. And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you guys the one thing that I learned from the guys that are at the very top. The people at the very top, they collab, they don't compete. The people that are competing are the scrubs at the very bottom that are competing with each other. So as you guys continue to grow and become better leaders in the business, you need to look at the people that are doing it and doing it at a high level and make sure you get around them. Because like the people that I'm moving around now with are making multi-million dollars a year. And
Hmm.
anytime I need something, I ask a question, I get that information right away. Nobody has ever gate kept something from me or acted like they shouldn't give me that information. Because the way that you look at the industry, there's so much out there for all of us to eat at a high level, and there's so much out there for everybody's team to be doing damage in this industry. And one of the best part is, continuing to collab, having new faces like Coach on the Builders Call, where they can give you guys that information that you guys can get to the speed that he's gotten to in a few months. Maybe you guys could do it quicker with him with the right information because you can
Yeah.
get a lot further ahead by making fewer mistakes. And Coach, we'll go ahead and close it out as we approach our time. What's one thing that that's on your heart that you could leave all of these new people that are looking to scale or get to the level that you're at now?
Yeah, one thing I'm going to say is just like you have to kind of be a little bit obsessed with the business. Like, so if you're not obsessed, I don't think that you're going to like be able to get to where like I'm trying to go or where Ronnie's at. Like, cause like if you're at home and you don't want to think about this job anymore, like I don't think you have the right mentality to be someone that's going to build a team. Like, I that's me personally what I just think. And uh every single mistake that you make, like not mistake, I would say every single bad habit that you have is going to go down to your team. Your good habits are going to go there as well. So it's like you showing how committed and how obsessed that you are is going to affect the team, and it's probably going to influence them to be the same way you are. So I just everything that I do, like I really am intentional. Like okay, like if my team were to see me do that, like is that going to affect them negatively or positively? So everything that I do, I kind of think of it in that way. So that's how I kind of leave everybody with is just anybody on your team, just make sure you're kind of keeping them in mind when you're making any type of decisions. If you're coming in late or you're not working as hard or you feel like you don't need to sell anymore or, because you got like 10 agents, like keep in mind, like that's probably what's going to happen when your agents get to that same level.
And that's huge. So you guys heard it from somebody that's scaling faster. And then the one thing that I'll leave you guys with is as we wrapped up the holidays and as we wrapped up convention, the month of March is when true numbers start coming out, is because now is when the show gets hitting the road. So I would encourage all of our leaders in here to start running March Madness brackets specifically this month so you guys can drive those numbers up, keep people excited, and fire off the year at a fast rate. We're our side specifically in All Star, Wiley, Mahmood, myself, we all move together. We're like a brotherhood. We're running one big bracket and we're handing out like $10,000 this month between all of the brackets. So I would encourage all of you guys as leaders that are scaling teams, do something for your teams and get them going to the next level because truly, I always say that the year starts fully as soon as March 1st hits because when you start seeing those true numbers load up. Appreciate you guys having us on with you guys today. Family First Life, we're out. Appreciate